Joining us now, Congresswoman Cammack from House Homeland Security, along with former acting chair of the White House Council of Economic Advisors, Thomas Phillipson. Thanks for spending your Friday with us. Okay, first let's deal with the breaking news. Congresswoman, your reaction to the judge in Louisiana blocking Biden. He's got to keep Trump's pandemic border policy in place. Now, Congresswoman, you know this already. The border was falling apart even with Title 42, right? Already Biden, in just his first 15 months, has had more illegal border crossers than all 4 years of Trump combined.
Yeah, absolutely, Liz. And it has been a disaster from day one when Biden, with the stroke of a pen, created this border crisis. It's by his own doing. Now, it's tremendous news about Title 42, but let's be clear. Title 42 was never the silver bullet to solve this. And you ask any Border Patrol agent, they will tell you they need a resounding policy to stop the flow of illegals coming across the border. This was just one tool in the toolbox. So a collective sigh of relief, but knowing this administration and what they have done to existing policies like MPP, the Remain in Mexico policy, they have been very crafty in altering statutes and definitions and helping these folks to basically coach them up so that they fall into certain categories. I expect this will happen with Title 42.
We're going to move on to this crisis. Okay, Thomas, parents are desperate. We're the world's most powerful economy. We've got 43 states. And I know the Congresswoman has been all over this. More than 40% of baby formula out of stock. Families are desperate. It's gotten so bad, shoppers in a Massachusetts store, people are fighting over baby formula. And Congress, now they're talking $28 million more for the FDA. But Senator McConnell points this out. It's not a matter of money. The FDA has a $6 billion budget.
Yeah, I think there's a sort of unwritten law that whenever you have shortages like this, where demand is far outpacing supply, essentially there's a government policy that's limiting supply to come in. And you see that for waiting for baby formulas currently. And there's three kind of government policies that are hindering this. One is obviously FDA. We've taken 6 months to deal with this. Also, the states are kind of holding down prices through exclusive contracts for the WIC program. And third, we have tariffs on foreign suppliers supplying formula in the U.S. So whenever you have a shortage problem, it's almost always a government issue.
You know, and the Democrats, 218 of them, block a GOP amendment to redirect unused pandemic funds to baby formula shortage. They're using pandemic funds on things like golf courses, minor league baseball stadium, hotel complex in Florida, but not on this. Look at the number. Biden, in the new Associated Press poll, it's just out. He has among the lowest approval ratings in modern American history. You're going to see that there. We want to stay on this thing about the baby formula shortage, because what's going on with Biden is his answer to inflation and shortages is more taxing, spending, and regulation. Watch House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy push back. Watch this.
The production of baby formula is so specialized and so specific that you can't just use the Defense Production Act to say to a company that produces something else, produce baby formula. It just doesn't work that way exactly.
They say one thing, they do another, and it's because their lack of action. But what he has done every single time since he's been president is ignore a big problem.
So you see that they said no to the DPA, to Congresswoman, now they're using it. You know what I mean?
Oh, exactly. I mean, and you showed the polls that are the lowest in modern history. Is anyone truly surprised? I mean, we have a guy in the White House who takes directions from the Easter Bunny. No one is shocked. But on this baby formula issue, Pete Buttigieg, the FDA, the press secretary, the White House, all of them, they have been caught flat-footed and, quite frankly, in a lie. They never had a plan. They shut down the nation's largest manufacturer of baby formula without a plan to backfill the 43% that they make up in the marketplace. That is common sense. You take that much out of the market, excuse me, they're going to have to replace it. As was said, they ease tariffs. They didn't ease regulations. This is of their own doing. And every time there is a crisis, what does big government liberals do? They say, throw more money at it. It's a policy change. It's America last, and that's Biden in a nutshell.
You know, the other thing, too, is Democrats blocked they blocked a Republican bill half a dozen times to get U.S. energy independence back. We're going to show you some hockey stick action to the downside. Biden inherited from Trump U.S. oil production at 12.9 million barrels a day. Within 4 months or so of him taking office, And more than a year before Russia's war in Ukraine, it started to plunge, hockey stick down to 9.7 million a day under Biden. So this is U.S. oil production plunging under Biden before Russia's war with Ukraine. Watch Senator Josh Hawley push back on the energy secretary, claiming that this is Putin's price hike. Watch.
With all due respect, Madam Secretary, that's utter nonsense. In January of 2021, the average gas price in my state was $2.07. 8 months later, long before Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine, that price was up over 30%, and it has been going up consistently since. What are you doing to reverse this administration's policies that are drawing down our own supply of energy in this country, that are throttling oil and gas production in the United States of America?
I got to break this down, Thomas, quickly. Okay, the Energy Secretary, Thomas, said a Dallas Fed survey shows only 6% of oil and gas executives blame government regulation. Thomas, we looked at it. It's more than that. It's 1 out of 4 cite government regulation, lack of access to financing, Biden's defunding U.S. energy, plus environmental rules. So you see these narratives coming out that they're easily debunked.
Yeah, I mean, also the Putin price hike that Biden calls, he owns that because basically it's a foreign policy disaster that made Russia invade Ukraine. Russia did not. They invaded Ukraine during Obama. They didn't during Trump, and they did during Biden. So common sense tells you that there's some foreign policy differences. But we're kind of in for a rough summer here, I think, in terms of gas prices, because Russia is being shut out. So world supply is going down, and world demand is going to rise quite quickly now with China coming in after zero COVID policy being lifted. So it's going to be a rough summer where people are traveling more on top of it.
Yeah, so ramp up U.S. energy. Congresswoman Cammack and Thomas Phillipson, thanks for joining us on this Friday night.